Hi, my name is Tanya, and this is Transformative Joy. Today we've got Kaiser. He will, he likes to come join me. Um, I have a lot of pets. All right, so in Transformative Joy, a different kind of tarot, what I mean by that is that I'm not doing uh, predictions of the future, so to speak, but I am seeking messages of hope, things that will nourish us, that will nurture our spirit. And of course, when the kitty sits down, you just have to work around the kitty. So that's what we'll do. Awesome. Kaiser gave us a scare a couple of weeks ago. He had a seizure. Yeah. So we're just glad he's okay. Awesome. Let's see. What spirit, please give me a message that people need to hear. All right. Cut. 4 on the bottom. Okay. Intuition. Let's see, that's base chakra. Stand your ground. And suffering in silence. I think right now, honestly, there's a lot of people who are starting to stand up, starting to say enough is enough. This isn't the system we want to have moving forward. We do not want to regress. We do not want to allow the negative, the harmful, the lower things of, lies and deception and abuse, that sort of system that protects and props up the ultra wealthy. We don't want that anymore. No more. We're kind of all over. People are beginning to stand up, some faster than others, but it is happening. So speak to us through the cards. What about this topic should we have? We're talking about security and safety, right? Basics. Okay, tell me about the suffering and silence. Tell me about the suffering. Okay. All right. 10 of Cups. Not a bad sign. The Hermit. Yeah, I like that one. In fact, I would say that is actually... See, these are 2 different decks, and I know they're called different things, but look at that. The Suffering and Silence is the Psychic Tarot Oracle's version of the Hermit. So I think we're kind of being called to follow our intuition, right? If we want to see the things that we want to see, we need to follow our intuition and stand our ground. All right. Oh, I'm not done yet. Let's see. The Star. I love this card. The Star. And what else do we got? How many more? 2 more. 10 of Pentacles. Lots of 10s. 2 10s. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. And the 7 of Wands. Again, another card. Right? Stand your ground. This is a card of defense and defending the things that are important to you, especially with the 10 of Cups here and the 10 of Pentacles. Defending what is important. And here we have, you got the intuition, we got the Star card, which tells me there is hope, right? There is hope to see the things that we want. If you are here because you care about the world, and I do sometimes think a lot about my own country, but there's a lot of suffering going on everywhere. We have multiple genocides, multiple wars. The system that is protecting the ultra wealthy in our country exists in all countries, and that's something that we want to see. And what I feel Spirit saying here is that we can achieve that. We can achieve that. We just need to stand our ground, not back down, not allow them, not give up. Don't give up, but stand up for what's important. All right, let's see. What else would you like us to know about this situation? Like, as we're standing up for ourselves and for others, what do we need to know? What's important and critical in this time? What can you tell us? All right. If you're new, most of you are kind of new because I've only been doing this a little bit, a brief period of time. Ten of Swords. I wait. Usually, I listen to my intuition. This is how I tried to do it kind of a standard way, and it didn't work for me. And then one day somebody said, Tanya, there aren't actually any rules in tarot, and you can use your intuition and do what feels right. Yeah. And this isn't like math, where I can't decide that 5 + 2 = 9. Right? This is something else. And that just opened me up. Temperance. I love the Temperance card. Of course, I am Libra rising. I love balance. I love social justice. That might also be my Aquarius moon speaking. Eight of Cups. Walking away. Relieving the situation. It will end, y'all. It will end. Nothing is permanent. That's helpful in the good times and the bad times to know that, because in the bad times, it kind of gives you, it kind of reminds us that bad things are going to come and go. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the situation, it feels like there's no end. But I promise you, there's always an end to the bad times. In the good times, you think, well, why is it good to know that things always end when things are going well? Because you develop an appreciation, and it kind of opens you up to experience it more. What else? Four of Swords. And one more. The Emperor. Okay. Usually I feel really good about the Emperor card. But when I placed it down, I noticed that, the Ten of Swords is a part of this thing. And considering, where the rest of the reading goes, I think that it's like, I think it's a reminder that the systems that held up the suffering, right? This is, in a way, this is like the only quote-unquote negative card until we get to the Ten of Swords. Suffering and silence. Even though it is that version of the Hermit, it has a little bit different feel in that deck. If you've never heard of Extinction Burst, look it up, because that's what we're in right now. We're experiencing the bursting of systems that have been in place for a very long time, that have served to protect the wealthy right? Success was thought of as might and power. That is ending. That's what we're going through. That's why it feels so hard, because that transition is never easy. That transition is never easy. But the cards are really trying to speak to us, right? They're really wanting us to listen, to use our intuition, to stand our ground and defend the things that we value. So what you got to ask yourself is, what do you value? So should I pull any more? Pull any more? Yeah. Okay. So this is my first tarot deck I ever had. It was a gift to me, which, you know, if you're new to tarot, your first tarot deck does not have to be gifted to you. One calls to you and you like it, pick one up. I recommend starting with the Rider-Waite deck, because it is so full of amazing, beautiful symbolism. In fact, I watch videos. I'm constantly trying to increase my awareness and my knowledge of all the various ways that all the different symbolism in the card. Because often, you know, in tarot, it's not just like a prescriptive, oh, this card means justice, this card means heartache, and this card means, no, that, I mean, there is kind of like a basic symbolism for each card, or a, you know, kind of a foundational meaning. But when you're doing things like tarot, you really need to open up your intuition, open up your mind and your experience to see, what does that card mean for you, right? Sometimes a combination of cards can slightly change the meaning. Like, I really feel like we're gonna see the death of an empire here, and it is time to not back down. Okay, so talk to us about our intuition at this time. What can we do? What do we need to do? What's important about using our intuition at this particular moment in time? What advice? Give us advice. That's what I'm asking. Give us advice to help us stand our ground, to stand up for what's right. Give us some advice here. Okay. Nine of Cups. This is called the Golden Tarot something or other deck. I lost the book, and I've lost the original box because I've had it for so long. And I know there's another tarot deck that's similar, Six of Pentacles. But it is a beautiful deck. Eight of Swords. And Five of Pentacles. All right. With the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords, I think that's speaking to the difficulties and the challenges that we've been in right now, and kind of the overall feeling of hopelessness and you know, just kind of weariness. Now the Nine of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, I feel, is the promise we have. It's the goal, right? With the Nine of Cups, it's, and I feel like I keep getting this in all of my various readings, and usually that means that it's an important message that needs to be heard. But Nine of Cups is that wish fulfillment card. It's the card of fulfillment of self, right? The Six of Pentacles is kind of, I feel like a completion, right? We got the Five of Pentacles, which is, you know, being left out in the called. I think we're being called to being generous and looking out for other people, right? That our mindset and what we focus on should be less and less about what do I want, and more about what will provide balance, what is fair and equitable for everyone. All right, so overall, actually a positive reading. We've got, just kind of wrapping it up, looking at the cards to see if I come up with any final thoughts. I think it's time to go spend a little time pondering. If you haven't already put thought into what your ideal world is, what is important to you, what your values are, right? What are your values? It's time to do that. Because we need to stand up for each other. Just one final thought. It just popped into my head. And I say this a lot. I think I've been thinking this a lot lately. But if you're roughly my age, which I am, I guess what they call a Zennial, Gen X, right on. I mean, you know, a few years later and I would have been a millennial. But I grew up with Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers always said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing because, again, I'm older now and my memory is not what it used to be. But Mr. Rogers said, in the difficult times, look for helpers. And I think what Spirit is asking us to do is, in the difficult time, to be the helper. To be the one who stands up for the people who need protection. Now that will look different for everybody because everybody has different talents, everybody has different skills, different abilities. You know, some of us are fully able-bodied, you know, others of us have disabilities. Some of us have skills to be a speaker. Others have skills to be writers. Others, even more, still have skills to do other things, right? We all have our thing. I think it's time to ask yourself, what is my thing? How can I contribute in a positive way? Yep. All right, so I have been this week focusing on helping you ground yourself in your body. And just as a recap, we did do a little bit of that through drinking and walking. And if you're unable to walk, you know, I gave you other suggestions for that. So today the kind of suggestion or the challenge I have for you is, because really more than anything, it's not, oh, I just want you to feel physical sensations. It's the ability, it's what I'm hoping to achieve in myself and with you together, both of us, all of us, is to anchor yourself in the present moment, right? And so when you're doing things like drinking or walking and your mind is 1,000 miles away, you're not really in the present moment. And it is a lot easier for that pattern and cycle of, I've got all these anxieties and oh my goodness, I'm stressed out. And trust me, I've been there. Come back to the present moment. So what I would like to suggest is, I want you to pay this is something, you know, we'll repeat again at various points in times, because this isn't something that you just pick up. None of this is. But I want you to do your best to be aware of when your mind goes cycling off into like the monkey mind, so to speak, when you start doom scrolling in your own brain, right? Your own thoughts are kind of doom scrolling in your own brain, so to speak. And just recognize that, right? Recognize it and say to yourself, there I go again. Doing so is not a failure, because at this point we're just seeking to identify the behavior. And then just take a few minutes to breathe. Take a few minutes to feel the weight of your body, either standing or sitting or laying down, and take a few breaths. Now, this isn't going to magically make everything better. I wish that's all it took, but it is the start, and it is the first step. I mean, when I was a baby, I didn't just jump up and start doing cartwheels and somersaults. No, I had to crawl first. I needed a little bit of tummy time, right? I had to build certain muscles in my body, and you do too. We all do. So right now we're just focusing on, in a very non-threatening, very gentle way of, okay, I've noticed that my mind went there again. And went there again can mean anything, right? It could be worried about paying the bills, worried about the news, worried about this relationship or that job. Just the minute you do, all I want you to kind of do is go, there I go again. Kind of take and try your best to take 3 deep breaths with the exhale going out longer. Even if you only do it once, just try it. Try it and see how it goes. I hope you enjoyed it today. I really appreciate the fact that you are spending your valuable time with me reading tarot. And if you liked it, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share. I always hate having to say this, but I realize when I watch other people's videos, sometimes I forget until they say it. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. So, yeah, and if any of this is helpful to you, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, I hope y'all stay safe and warm out there. It's gonna be cold, at least for some of us. Have a great day.